Hashim, lovely to meet you, sir. Do you know what? We're going to have a little chat today about where you've come, what you've done, and how that's relevant to what you've been brought in to do. But maybe start off and introduce yourself to the listeners, readers, and viewers.
Nice to meet you, Matt. My name is Hashim Ahmed. I'm the CFO at Newfound Gold. I just joined the company 3 months ago. I've been in the mining industry for past 20 years. Originally started with Barrick Mining Corporation, where I worked both in the Toronto head office and then towards the end at mine sites. I then transitioned over to the junior mining sector, joined Jaguar Mining as a CFO. The company at that time had recently come out of CCAA, was market cap of $30 million. And our team took it, turned it around. It's now trading at north of 500 million, so pretty good turnaround story there. Briefly, then I joined Nova Royalty, which was acquired by Metella. And most recently, I was a CFO at Mandalay Resources, which was acquired by Alkane. So plenty of experience in both operational finance as well as capital markets and raising debt and equity.
Right, I think our viewers know, and subscribers know a few of those companies been on here for sure. Well, look, now you're at Newfound Gold. Okay, how long have you been there?
3 months, almost 3 months. Yeah.
And what's the brief to you? What have you been brought in to do?
3 things I think that attracted me here, and I think those 3 things speak volumes about the asset and why this is a great opportunity for any investor as well as a CFO like myself. First of all, I've worked in jurisdictions which are often quite challenging from the names I just mentioned. And I can appreciate what a good jurisdiction can command in valuations. And not to mention Newfound Gold is in Newfoundland, which is, I think, probably one of the best provinces to establish your next mine. So I think that's a key thing. The second thing is, in my view, which very, very few people appreciate, is the prospectivity. This asset is a multi-generational asset, Matt. It's going to be explored for multiple generations after us, 110 kilometers of strike, and we've just explored less than 10. So this is a huge plus. And the third one is financial discipline as we transition, which is one of my focus, is transitioning towards in a phased approach towards production.
It's kind of interesting, actually. This, look, I think Newfound Gold has been a quite a significant company as a explorer, and it's kind of building its way back up as a developer in terms of size. You've worked at some big companies, and you've worked at some difficult situations as well. I'm interested in, and we'll talk about the financial structure in a second, but I'm interested in processes and systems whenever you're kind of coming into an operation like this throughout the organization because money coming in is great, but sort of tracking how people spend it and that kind of return on that capital investment is also quite important. So how are you going to look at that side of the business?
Yeah, and good point. I mean, bigger companies might look at implementing best practices, and I've seen those in the past. And then the junior companies on the other end of that of that range implement nimble processes. What I'm trying to do here at Newfound Gold is balance both of these aspects. We are still an exploration company transitioning into development and then soon into production. So we need the nimbleness, but at the same time, we need to implement financial processes that are going to last a long time. So balancing those 2 aspects is key. I think this is one of the projects which is probably going to move at a very fast pace among the sphere of universe we see around us. Going from exploration to production within a period of 2 years is pretty fast in our industry. And when we are doing that, I think the key theme, Matt, there is operational readiness. The processes you need in exploration, the processes you see in development, and the processes you see in production, they're entirely different. And we need to be having the foresight in developing them before we get to each one of those stages. So I think that's one of my key focuses is making the organization operationally ready for each one of those phases.
Right. So there's a kind of, I guess there's a sort of dual track component to it, but there's also a transition between those two dual tracks at some point, and without wanting to kind of bind the company up in red tape. That nimbleness is something that larger companies quite often are jealous of. They kind of seek it in a way. So that it's interesting. I mean, good luck with that, and look forward to hearing about how that's implemented across the organization. In terms of have you got the right people there? In terms of not just the data, the information, but in terms of being able to make decisions without having to call on you on a daily basis.
The team is pretty young and new, just like myself, new but not young. At the same time, we are. I mean, when we are implementing a multi-generational asset, we're also implementing multi-generational finance resources within the province. The province is got a lot of talent. It needs a lot of mentorship as well. And so a lot of my time, Matt, is being spent in hiring the right people in finance, which we most recently did, but also doing a lot of mentorship. I can bring in, from my past 20 years of experience, a lot of that best practices and how I can impart that to my team and make sure at the right pace they develop the right processes. So there's a lot of deep mentorship involved in this particular instance.
Okay, so to that, and how do you kind of personally define financial discipline in that sense? And I guess for you, what are the kind of principles that kind of guide your decision making? If you're going to mentor people, you've got to have your own brand of the way things get done, right?
When you're transitioning an asset from exploration to development to production in such a short period of time, and you are going to be spending a lot of capital allocation becomes a key theme at the background of all of that, and making sure management has the right processes in place, which almost force the management in reviewing each capital decision, documenting it in a proper way, and getting the right approvals within the governance framework. So, for example, we recently put in place an approval-for-expenditure process. We have most recently done a segmented or almost like a bucket approach for capital allocation. So there's a capital required for health and safety, which needs to be done, or environment. Then there's growth capital. And then we've got a third capital, which is contingent capital. And we will dip into this if operational cash flows allow us in the future. So just parsing your capital in those different buckets, and then making sure you looking at the health of the spend. How do you dip into each of those buckets? That's the kind of discipline we are bringing in at Newfound Gold.
Right, and obviously, as you say, you're bringing people in, but there's also an existing group of people there. I mean, you kind of got to have an alignment across technical teams and the financial team. That's a difficult thing when you're dealing sort of with engineers who may not necessarily understand what you're trying to do. So what are the ways that you go about ensuring this is collaborative and understood throughout the organization?
Matt, in my past experience, I have seen CFO's organization has to be the problem solver. And we are almost quote unquote the village elders. We bring everybody together, everybody sits together and watches, sees what needs to be solved, and we become the problem solver and the risk identifiers. So that really builds a lot of trust in the team. Alignment comes from basically looking at the same hymn sheet. We're all looking at the same numbers, we're looking at the same KPIs, and all the decisions are being made from the same numbers. So I think that brings the alignment. So trust and alignment, they go hand to hand, in my view, that way.
And how do you, look, it's a very exciting environment for gold companies at the moment. You're right, you've got something generational in front of you. gold over $5,000 today as we talk. It changes people's thinking, or can change people's thinking. How do you view financial risk in an environment like this when money seems so readily available?
So today's gold environment is very forgiving, and we all know that. Margins are easy to make, but the same inflationary environment that's taking the gold price up is also taking your cost up as well. So a lot of focus has to be on the cost. Once again, my metric that I look at is not the cash cost or all-in sustaining cost, although the industry does like to see that. At the end of the day, what we internally look at is how much cash are we generating net, and that's the key number we look at. That way, it brings in more discipline. It removes the noise from the numbers as well, but it's being financially disciplined in making sure that this gold price does not allow us to make wrong decisions, which we have seen happen in the past in our industry.
Yeah, no one needs that again. But again, you're working with a team of, we've kind of got the exploration, which I think team headed by Melissa, doing a great job finding the good stuff. But you're also dealing with a team of mine builders, right? That's ultimately what has been kind of shaped here to try and take advantage of this potential high margin, high revenue opportunity in front of you. When you are dealing with a kind of group like that who want to kind of get on with it, who's kind of leading from the front, as it were? Obviously, Keith's in charge of this thing, but the engineers want to get on with it. They know what they got to do. In terms of the financing has been available to now, is your view? Well, what is your role in those sorts of discussions?
At this moment, I think my role is to once again define the processes as we transition through these different phases at a very fast speed. Not to mention, we are transitioning from exploration to development to production. We just, as you know, acquired Maritime Resources, which already has a producing asset going into commercial production in the next few quarters. So you've got a lot of fast-paced transition happening. My team has been focused on developing the right processes at this moment that will enable management to make the right decisions. Now, once again, I also think a key approach that I really like what the management team has decided upon is this phased approach of building Queensway. This enables us to be more disciplined in capital allocation. This enables us to reduce construction risk because we just acquired Maritime Resources and there's a Pine Cove mill. So now we have reduced construction risk in my view. And the third thing is that by distributing this development over 3 phases, we're going to learn from each one of those phases and build up on those lessons. So I think this is this approach that the senior leadership team prior to me decided and implemented. I think this is a really good approach for building these assets in today's time in a disciplined way.
Okay, and I guess that's kind of interesting to me in terms of your view of risk, and it is kind of collaborative at board level. You've got to kind of temper some enthusiasm, but at the same time release the pressure by providing the capital or allowing the company to be able to access the capital, I should say, to do the things it needs to do. And I think this is kind of pivotal year for you guys. But for you personally, you know, like you say, you're new to the company, but you're at that stage where you've got to be careful with the companies that you go and work for. You want success, obviously. You don't want it to damage your brand. How, at this stage of your career, I mean, how do you hope to achieve that with as a CFO at Newfound Gold?
I'd be very happy if after 3-4 years I look back at this asset and it can function on a cruise control even without a CFO. I think a successful company is which has continuity in it, which has transition, which has continuity through various phases of transitioning. And I think that's the thing. Building a strong team that can take this forward to multiple generations ahead. Matt, this asset is going to be there after you and me are gone, long time. And there's going to be an entire provincial finance and operational workforce that's yet to come, which is going to build this and take this forward in the future. So I think making sure I build that right team and those foundational processes would be something which I would be really proud of if we can do in the next few years.
Hashim, look, appreciate the time. It was a kind of catch up. So we're trying to get to know the team. Like I say, it's a build team that's been assembled to get this thing moving, get into revenue in an appropriate manner. We don't want anyone falling over. So it's great to meet you, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.